Last week 30 kilograms of POP fell apart when I flipped it. This week I used 22 kilograms and I did it differently. For the longest time I thought art was my passion. I kept jumping from one thing to another, from pencil sketch, 3D origami, expandable paper sculpture, digital art, stippling, and then to building a furniture, electronics, blockchain development, teaching stock market. But then I realized it wasn't art I was chasing, it was learning itself. So I started embracing it. I am Bharath Gowda. Every skill I learn and prove earns me a badge. One person, every skill, no finish line. Imperfect plans, real mistakes, and honest documentation. This is the Curiosity Project. Let's learn something new. Last week, the POP mold failed. Two mistakes, no release agent between the POP and the thermocol, and batch pouring with a drying time between layers that never fully bonded to each other. This week, I fixed both, but before I could fix the mold, I had to rebuild the master. The thermocol was ruined in the last attempt, so I started again from scratch. This time, I also added a layer of clay over the thermocol surface to create the wooden texture. That clay layer does two things. It gives the surface the texture the mold needs to capture, and it acts as a natural separator between the master and the POP, helping the master release cleanly when the time comes. Before pouring anything, I built a border around the master to contain the POP and define the edges of the mold. And this time, my brother was there to help. The pouring process was completely different from last time. I started by mixing a thin watery batch of POP, much thinner than before, and I sprinkled a thin first layer over the complete master. The purpose of this layer is to capture the details. Thin watery POP gets into every corner, every letter edge, every texture groove. That is the layer that holds the information. Second layer, slightly thicker but still, spreads thin over the first while it is still wet. No waiting between layers, no drying time, wet on wet, so everything bonds. Then while it was still wet, I spread a layer of coconut fiber across the surface. My brother mixed another thin batch and we poured it over the fiber, gently pressing it so it bonds completely. Then wooden sticks placed across the back for rigidity across full 6 feet span. Another layer of coconut fiber over the sticks and a layer of POP to lock it all in. 22 kilograms in total, 8 less than last time, and every layer placed while the previous one was still wet. I let it dry for 2 days, then it was time to find out if it worked. We removed the outer border and lifted it, and the mold was pretty solid. And flipping it was no hassle this time. I removed the master, the clay layer came away cleanly with it, and the mold was flawless. Did some finishing on the corners with a blade, cleaned the surface with a brush, and it was now time to cast using fiberglass and resin. Before anything touches the mold, wax goes on first, a good amount, especially near the letters where the detail is deepest and the cast is most likely to stick. The resin I am using is a 3-part system: resin, cobalt, and an hardener. First, resin and cobalt mixed together. For the first layer, I also added some zinc powder to increase the density. A denser first layer captures surface detail better and gives the cast more weight and rigidity at the face. Then the hardener goes in last. Once the hardener is added, the clock starts, resin hardens fast, no stopping, no adjusting, no second chances. So we work in batches. First, a 1-inch brush to work in the resin into the letters, getting into every corner and every edge. Then a wider brush across the full mold surface. First layer of fiberglass, letters first, then the full surface. Resin over the fiberglass to saturate it. Before the final layer, I placed washers at the mounting points. These are where the nameplates will bolt to the wall. They need to be locked inside the cast, not added after. Final layer of fiberglass and last layer of resin. And now it dries for a day. The mold came out well this time. The casting is done. Whether it releases cleanly from the mold, we will find it out in the next week. Badge caster still in progress. Next week, the release. This is the Curiosity Project. I'm Bharath Gowda. I learn anything I want, earn a badge when I prove it, and document every step publicly. If that's something you are interested in, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.